All right, everybody, welcome to this episode of Learning the Tropes, the Daisy Sessions. Today we're going to be talking about episode 6, Whatever Gets You Through the Night, written by Charmaine DeGrotte and Will Graham, directed by Nzinga Stewart. What an apt title for this episode.
Yeah.
We started chatting briefly before we started recording. Oh, I'm Erin.
I'm Taylor. Don't forget to introduce us.
I know.
For all our new fans.
Exactly. Who's starting on episode 6? Nobody.
An episode to start on if it is. Oh my goodness.
We chatted briefly that you need a break.
I need a break. I think it's just it's like I said at the beginning, the very beginning, that the show is like a cake. And it's really rich, it's really dense, there's a lot here, and I want to take it one slice at a time. And just watching everything back to back it's draining. Like I don't know, it's just like kind of draining on me, and I just want to take more time in between episodes. Like I just don't understand why they did this 3. I mean, I do. We've talked about it. We've gone through why, like episode 4 is tied to episode 5. And I guess I don't think that this needed to be tied to anything. I think this could have stood alone. But I just am like, this is a lot. And Amazon has really kind of screwed everybody over with this schedule.
I think so too. I mean, I think had it been like maybe the first 2 or 3 episodes the first night, and then just weekly would have been so much better and more. Yeah, because you don't have like time to sit with the episodes, and I think that's what you get with a weekly release. I mean, think about The Last of Us, which is like everybody's watching about it. People have been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks.
It's kept building.
Exactly. Whenever an episode comes out, there's like think pieces about the episode, and we talk about the episode, and there's TikToks about the episode.
Are they about the episode though?
It was about Pedro.
About Pedro.
Or like parts of the I don't know, when there was the Murray episode.
Yeah, episode 3.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? And it allows an audience to find it and allows it to build. And like that's the strange thing about this series. And I overall am enjoying it. And there are so many positives about it, but people aren't talking about it.
No.
Like there's kind of like nothing. And it's so strange to me because it's so ripe to be massive. And I think instead it's like, there's too much going on. And so people aren't able to like sit with it and speculate and do all those like fun things that you do with a TV show.
Right. I mean, The Last of Us had its finale during the Oscars, and it still did amazing, like ratings wise. I'm not following. I'm still actively avoiding stuff online for Daisy Jones. So I don't really know if people are talking about it, but are they, like you're saying that they're not? It's just not people aren't discussing this.
I just feel like I don't
see anything.
No. And when I do see stuff posted about it, it's like the actors or Amazon posting about it. Like I don't see like the organic stuff or
right.
You know?
Yeah. I've noticed like on vulture.com, they have a little section. And I did before I watched episode 6, I Googled one of the actors. I Googled the actor Eddie because I just wanted to see who he was. And I did have a Google headline spoil a huge part of
this episode.
So I was really upset about that. I was like, of course, the one time that I actually Googled this, it's like I get a massive spoiler, like thanks a lot. So I knew one of the things concerning Eddie that comes down the pipeline of this episode. But I think I also wonder if maybe I saw a headline today that said ranking all the songs on Aurora, and it said now that the album has been released, we can listen to all the real songs from the fake band. And so I'm wondering if maybe Amazon pushed for a top-heavy release schedule to get to the album in the show so that they could release the album in real life. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's like then just release the album starting day 1, and if somebody wants to listen to it, they can. Or build more anticipation for the album, you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm. 'Cause I didn't listen to the album. I didn't click on the article. I'm still not listening to anything that hasn't been
Mhm.
released on the show. 'Cause I want everything to come naturally.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a episode with a lot to talk about. It's an interesting one.
This is the episode that I have been dreading.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'll have to remind me because I don't remember some specifics of the book, and I didn't have a chance to go back and read. You have a
Yeah.
better memory than I do. But
It's
let's
just
start. Mhm,
I just wanna clarify by what I mean is that this is the episode that has the most departures from the book, and
mhm,
one, like, huge departure that is not in the book at all, and
mhm,
so, like, I guess I knew that it was always coming, but I just was not ready for it, and
mhm.
yeah, it really hit me.
It hit.
It hit me.
Yeah, yeah. But we start this episode and the band is in the studio. Everybody's working together. Music is an intimate thing. They're laughing. They're having a good time.
Daisy's singing straight to Billy.
Eddie is mad that they keep coming in giggling. I love that Graham answers the interviewer like, "I wasn't nervous about anything at that point, not at the beginning. The songs were too good." Like, he didn't
Mhm.
wanna have to think about what could else could be going on. The band finally does drugs.
I
And
know!
I didn't know I
What?
was such, like, a pusher of drugs, but, like, for the love of Christ, can we please see some people having fun in this fucking show and
Yep.
doing drugs and being a rock band in the '70s? Like, I
Thank you.
think I like, when they were finally doing coke off the in the studio, I was like, "Great,
Yep,
great."
yep. When I saw Warren bend down and snort, I was like, "Yeah!
Finally! These are also just,
Drugs!"
like, kids who have just come into money and just hang out with their friends and work weird hours. Like, of course they're on
Of
drugs.
course. I know.
Um, yeah. Graham and Karen are still making out in closets.
Hot. Hot
Yeah.
when they, have to separate. The person who walks in also is just like, "I'm just gonna look straight at this light switch and not into the actual closet."
Yeah. He would have gotten an eyeful.
Ugh, little
And
idiot.
then Daisy wants the music to be more swampy, and I do have to say, it was more swampy after. Like, she did accurate,
Well, because Billy knows how to speak Daisy,
Daisy.
which was the best line. "Oh, he knows how to speak Daisy now." So good. But I loved afterwards when Eddie like, I loved their little vibe that they just have, Warren and Eddie,
Yeah.
like, "Swamp it."
They are a great duo.
I just want, like,
Um,
more of those little off asides, like, just where it's fun little things. Like, remember in the pilot episode where they just somebody randomly says Burt Reynolds? Like, bring back those little tiny, really
funny.
lived in, funny moments. That's what we want.
Yeah, exactly. We get introduced to the villain of the episode, Jonah Berg.
Jonah Berg, he finally shows up.
Yeah, I know, I didn't think we were gonna get him at
I didn't
all.
think we were gonna get him either, and I was like, "Oh, it's Jonah," and then he was not what I expected, and
Mhm.
yeah, he was
Awful.
the antagonist, so but he
And
didn't do anything that he didn't do in the book. Like, that's the thing.
yeah, I guess that's true. Um, and the older Daisy says, I promise to tell you everything, but how much of everything do you wanna know?"
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm, mm, mm.
I mean, now I mean, we still can't spoil it, although at this stage, who knows?
If that's the twist,
Yeah, it could be a completely different twist.
I think it's gonna be it. I think they're gonna stay true to that.
Well, something also that somebody pointed out was, like, Camilla's lower third isn't Camilla Dunn, it's Camilla Alvarez, it's her maiden name.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, photographer. I noticed
mhm.
photographer. Hmm.
That's fine. Whatever, give her a job, I guess. Um, But Camilla's home alone and feeling iced out.
Did we skip over the part? Yeah. Oh man,
What?
the looks that Billy gives Daisy while they're listening to the
Mhm.
album, just I think that it's I don't know if I wanted it to play more into the memory aspect that we've talked about, but I think I liked the way that this episode a little bit goes into who does what for what reasons and the manipulation of
Mhm.
everything and how one person thinks that one thing happens for one reason and the other person says that they did one thing for another reason. Um and so it's just when Billy is giving those looks to Daisy while they're listening, and it's just this you're like wondering what is this? Is this like longing? Is this pride? Is this sexual tension? Like what? I thought it was
Yeah.
great. I thought it was so good.
Oh, no. That all of that was all amazing, and it felt so earned after last episode too.
Mhm.
Like, this felt like a natural continuation in a way that's great.
Mhm. And then him
Um,
just being like it's just an act, it's not real life.
yeah, because Jonah's seeing the way that he and Daisy, like, act together, and they have, like, a combative, kind of flirty relationship, and
Mhm.
Billy says it's like Bonnie and Clyde. I had a hard time following his little speech too. I'm like, I think Billy's just bad at metaphor because I was like, "You're like Warren Beatty?"
He's yeah, Warren Beatty the actor and Faye Dunaway is Daisy. I guess he really wanted to talk about a metaphor where they just die in a hail of bullets later.
Right, because it's like there's a difference between acting and songwriting too, but a point was made. I don't know if it was, like, a great point to be made.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, Camilla's home alone. She can't connect with Billy. He's kind of icing her out, which is, like, a bummer to see.
yeah.
And she must be so lonely because her mother went back home. She all of her friends are in the band.
Yeah, she,
So
like,
she
doesn't have
really
any
is just
friends.
home alone with an 18-month-old, which must be like fucking hell.
Yeah. And it's, like, when you used to be a team, like, her and Billy used to be a team, he used to she was the first person to hear all the songs, and now she's not anymore. She doesn't even hear them. Not only is she not the first, she doesn't even hear them.
Or he doesn't ask her opinion on them.
Not until after they're done.
It's so sad. I mean, this is skipping ahead, but when they're at the photo shoot and she's like, "Oh my god, is this Aurora?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, take a listen, let me know what you think," as he's running
As
off,
he's
which is
walking
so
away.
dismissive and,
Mhm.
oh, that was cruel.
Yeah, I didn't love the way that Billy treated Camilla in this episode, and I don't think it didn't feel it felt like a betrayal of his character
Mhm.
because he's still so obsessed with her and you're allowed to love two women at the same time and you don't have to like it felt unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
I think it would have been richer if he felt more torn.
Mhm.
Like if he still treated Camilla the same way, but then, he's suffering from these feelings for Daisy instead of just icing Camilla out. And then it turns into like
Right.
a little bit of a cliche.
Right, especially after last episode, he gets home and he gets into bed with her, and it's, like, hot and heated, and it's like, where's
Yeah,
that energy this episode?
exactly.
Yeah, she's in a photo studio, and there's just some, like, hot guy speaking Spanish. I thought that she was gonna, like, sleep with that guy or something.
So I got spoiled that she hooks up with Eddie, and so I knew that he wasn't going to be a thing. So there was no tension in this scene for me because I knew he wasn't the end
Nothing was gonna
result.
happen.
Yeah.
So then it is kind of a nothing scene that I'm not sure quite what it is showing other than, like, she turns somebody down, which is like, okay, but, like, yeah, I assume Camilla gets hit on all the time because I have eyes, and then I also assume that she says no, you know?
Yeah, right? I took away that she's losing her roots because her Spanish is terrible. She's like feeling really adrift or untethered, as Daisy would say with her kite metaphor. And then she needed somebody to point out that Daisy and Billy have the hots for them in the photo, which was so dumb. Like,
Oh, yeah. No.
she knows, like, you like, but that is I just don't this is, like Camilla's a tough
Mhm.
character in the book, and so, like, I'll say that, the writers of the show had their work cut out for them with how to accurately and, like, lovingly handle Camilla, 'cause she's tough, like, she is kind of just a groupie, but, like, she's her own woman, and
Mhm.
so I just don't like what they did with her here, but I
Yeah.
also yeah. Well, yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
I mean, I love the scene between Camilla and Karen when they're sitting out by the fire and talking,
Mhm.
and Camilla's able to open up to Karen and talk about how she hasn't heard songs from the album, how she feels like she's not her own person anymore, all these things. It was, like, a very sad but very real conversation.
Yeah.
She wants something of her own, and then she gets Karen to admit that she's been sleeping with Graham.
Sees right through Karen. So obvious
Yeah.
because Graham can't stop smiling.
Graham is the
So
cutest.
cute.
And I liked I don't know, whenever the 2 of them are together, I think it's, like, a fantastic scene.
I do really like Karen with all like, Suki Waterhouse has grown on me, and
Mhm.
I've always liked Karen. Karen, I think, is my favorite character in the book. Like, I just
Mhm.
love her vibe. Um, and yeah, so all of her scenes that she has, like, she seems like a really good scene partner.
Yeah, definitely. And then Billy comes to bed. Camilla's trying to talk to him about the song. He won't even, like, talk about a song with her. He says that Daisy wrote it. He just wants to go
Lies.
to sleep. Ugh,
Yeah.
no
Like,
good.
why but why? Okay, what do you think was the writers what were the writers trying to do here? Literally just give Camilla a reason to go look for something else? Why is Billy acting this way? Where's the emotional
I don't it
impetus
just to
coming
see
from?
him, like, wrapped up in his work to the point where, like, he's not realizing that he's falling for Daisy, or I don't know what it is, but it's, like, a little too on the nose. It like, you're right. Even if Billy is wrapped up in his work, although it is interesting because, when he was on the road and cheating on her a lot with the first tour,
Mhm,
he just, like, didn't engage with her, basically.
mhm.
So it could just be, like, when he knows he's fucking up, he just doesn't engage.
Hmm,
Possibly.
that gives them a lot of credit. I think you did a really good job of getting there for them.
But yeah, and Camilla too, it's like it's hard because I feel like episode to episode, like, sometimes you have an episode and you're like, "Fuck yeah, Camilla," like the party episode where she's, like, firing on all cylinders, she's the Camilla we know, she's manipulating people, she's making things happen, she's standing up for herself and her
Mhm,
family,
mhm,
and then we'll have an episode like this where I'm like, "Who is this woman?"
mhm.
Because this woman is hard to root for, because she never just says to Billy, like, other than at the end, but she never just says to Billy, like, "What the fuck is going on? Why aren't
Yeah,
you showing me the songs?
right, which
Why are
feels
you icing me out?" Which
mhm.
feels like that's what she would say, like, why is she tiptoeing around him in this way? It's so strange.
Thank you. That's it. She's not a tiptoer. She just speaks her
Yeah,
mind, she speaks direct, and she like again, getting ahead of myself, but like when she's like, "I need a secret of my own," I was like, "That's not Camilla at all." Like,
yeah,
no, she asks for other people's secrets and she'll tell you her own. Like she gets secrets out of people. And it just didn't feel I don't know, like the sleeping with Eddie, we'll talk about that later, but like that's not the thing that makes her hard to root for. Like that's different.
yeah,
It's the fact that she's just become this passive aggressive person, which is not the character at all.
right, and which is all it's hard to root for somebody who's passive aggressive. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's
It's a
like
bad trait to have, you know?
mhm. Yeah.
Um, then we're back in the studio. Billy and Daisy are singing. Jonah is like in the future is like they always had these coded message songs or coded messages to each other. And Eddie goes like, "Coded?"
Did
Like,
he say
we were just
coded?
um Daisy does drugs in front of Billy, which seems to be crossing a line or kind of a first time that that happened. It felt like starting towards danger.
Yeah, when he says, "You don't have to leave." Do you think he knew what she was gonna do?
Yeah, of course. And I think she was trying to respect him because 1, he made her flush all the pills down the toilet. So she would always probably be like, "Oh, I have to go to my car. I have to do this," whenever she would want to take something.
Right.
And he knew that's what she was doing. Um, and so then Billy and Daisy drive to the ocean so she can try to remember a melody.
Oh, the little small smiles in the car where they're like, "Did the melody come back to you yet?" I was like, "Oh no, oh no!" Literally, both of my hands on my face like this.
Oh, no. Then they get to the ocean. Here's the thing too, like, obviously, I know all of this is coming, but, like, when Daisy's like, "Tell me you were this is new to me," and they're kind of talking coded about the relationship, like, that feels so soon. Where almost I'm like, that conversation feels like it should be happening next episode
Yeah.
because they went from enemies to tolerating each other, and, like, it doesn't feel like there was time for that to even grow a little bit more. It feels really like I there just seems to be a lot of unearned scenes or unearned emotional conversations in this episode that are like, why are we doing this now? So I found that so odd, but what did you think about the scene on the beach?
So when I texted you that I had gotten a spoiler and then you
Yeah.
said, "Oh no, is it something with Billy and Daisy?" I was like, "No, no, no. Like they would never do that." Completely thinking that it was not going to happen. And then this happens and I was like, "No, this is so soon." You're absolutely right. It's unearned emotion. They're finally getting together. They've only technically been getting along for like 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And then, you know, maybe if we had seen more montages or like we had seen them write another song together going through the ups and downs. I don't know, it just feels like this is the trap of voiceover and like flashbacks is that you can have, Billy say there's nothing like writing a song and then Daisy say like we fought a lot and you can assume that the audience is going to get the emotional mileage out of that
Mhm.
and it just didn't feel worth it.
Yeah.
I think they ride a lot on the chemistry of the two, which like fair play, yes, but
Yeah.
it felt
It
really soon.
it felt really soon, and it felt also, like, so vulnerable for Daisy to say that too, in a way where I'm like, I don't feel like she's there yet, her character, to
Right.
be able to vocalize her needs in that way, in a, like, a non-aggressive way, basically.
Mhm.
Um,
And then for Billy to say, "You make everything better," we haven't seen her make everything better. We've seen her make Honeycomb better. And, like,
well, yeah, we've seen her make the band probably get along better, probably made all these songs better, but, like, yeah, it's not
also, Billy
earned.
doesn't like what they're like, he
Yeah.
likes the songs, but he doesn't like what she did to the band. He doesn't like that it's now a democracy. He hates
Right, of
that.
course not. Yeah. He likes it when he was in charge and everything was about it was just songs about his wife, and it also undermines how much ugh, like, how quickly she was able to unravel that too,
Yes.
you know? Where it's like, it was all about Camilla, it was all about Camilla, and then within a matter of, like, what, weeks, months? It's not.
Mhm.
Um, Daisy basically tries to get him to go back to her hotel room, which also I'm like and maybe I need to reread the book, but it feels like Daisy was conflicted in the
In
book.
uh, not
No?
really. No, she was like, uh, she was upset when he
Yeah.
turned her down. It wasn't really conflicted. Like, it was when they're writing a song and she, like, leans in to kiss him and he, like, pulls
Mhm.
back and says no. And then she's like, "I can't believe you turned me down." And then Billy claims that it's alcohol and drugs and he saw everything and he wanted to leave, and she was like, "That's not it."
Yeah. That's basically what
Temptation.
happened.
It's basically what happened, but
Yeah.
the
And the
temptation, like
Oh, that was great, where she's just like, "What did he tell you?" And
yeah,
he says, "I looked at that room and I saw temptation." And then Daisy goes, "It wasn't the drugs."
I did like that.
Yeah.
But again, it feels really early. Like, I could see maybe if you don't have the first scene at the beach, but you just have that part, I
Yes.
could do with that.
That would have been yeah. If it was just the drive to her house
Yeah.
and her being under the guise of like, "Oh, we'll come in and we'll write in my place, in my bungalow."
Mhm.
And him being like, "No," knowing what it would mean, but it's like she's basically expressed that she has feelings for him. So it's like, what was he thinking the whole ride back, valeting the car, walking up those steps, walking around that pool? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
He was like, "Yes, yes, yes," and then all of a sudden he was like, "No." It's like, well, it took him so long to get to that
Yeah,
stage.
right. Slam on the brakes now? Okay.
Yeah, like, it was bizarre. But then Daisy sees Jonah by the pool. She calls him Rolling Stone, which I love,
Yeah.
like, Jonah. Um, and Jonah is a messy bitch who lives for drama, and so he immediately tells her that Billy said it was all an act.
Yeah. Loved.
Yeah,
That was
no,
great.
that was a great scene.
And then her just leaning forward and be like, "Do you have any Coke?"
I just don't wanna feel this feeling right now, so I'm gonna need you to give me some drugs, Rolling Stone.
Rolling
Um,
Stone, yeah, I don't know what I expected him to be. I thought, like, reading in the book, he seems like he's very much on the band side and he, like, wants to be their friend and he wants to be, you know, I don't know, he seems like with them and a part of the group. And this he just seemed so antagonistic and very
well,
against
because he
them.
yeah,
And they
he
added the
used to
little
be different.
layer yeah, they added the little layer of him being, a new writer. Like, if they had sent anybody else, it wouldn't have been a big deal, you know? Where he's like, "This was my first assignment or something, so I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get the story I want."
Yeah.
It was different.
I mean, he was all different, but, um, yeah, then Daisy goes missing. And we have this scene like, I remember the diving board scene so vividly from the book,
Mhm.
and I found it weird that it was, like, put here instead. Because 'Cause didn't Simone find her when
It
she's at
happens
the top?
very early in the
But
book.
she's, like, on the end of the diving board, and Simone finds her, and there's glass broken on the diving board, right?
I
No.
it's glass on the I mean, it's like glass on the pool.
Oh.
I don't remember if it was on the diving board. You thought it wasn't very true to the book?
Well, I just thought it was like Simone found her there, and so then Billy finding her there, and I'm finding that it's happening quite a bit in this
It's Billy.
retelling. Oh,
Okay.
Billy finds her?
Billy, no, because Simone was at the party and like she sees it happen, but Teddy and Billy go, and Teddy gets
Oh.
her, and Billy comes with Teddy, and then he sees all the drugs, and he's like, "Can you handle this? I can't be here." And Teddy's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, leave." So then Billy leaves.
Oh, okay. You
Uh,
remember better than me.
what are you saying about the telling of this though?
Oh, then never mind. But I thought it was interesting when the whole crowd was just like was just chanting for her to jump. I was like, "Is this a metaphor for fame?" Where it's like this beautiful woman at the end of a diving board who's clearly like not having a good time, like is out of it. And it's just like massive people just saying, like, yes, jump, jump. Let's see you like go down for this. And then she does.
Yeah. Again, I think you're given
Um,
a lot of credit.
I saw that. I wrote in my notes, symbolism.
Question mark.
I think it is.
I think it might
Um,
be. But I did like that they had a
yeah,
party. Like, finally, Daisy had a
I
party.
know.
But again, she doesn't interact with anybody at the party.
No.
The girl doesn't know how to talk to people, apparently. She's got some poor social skills.
Um,
Okay,
yeah.
when Billy
What?
comes and then he leaves, and then Daisy says, "Say hi to Camilla for me." I
No.
hated that.
Fuck that.
I
Fuck
hated it.
that. Yeah.
I thought it was horrible. It's
Mhm.
so not in the character of Daisy, in the show even, like, not
Mhm.
even in the
Right.
book. It's just so it made me mad.
Yeah. It's not like her. It's not her character in the show. It just felt so antagonistic, and also it's like, at this point in the show, is Daisy supposed to believe that Billy was going to leave his wife for her? Because
Yeah,
it seems like Daisy probably I doesn't want a husband. Like, I feel like Daisy wants a guy to kind of, like, record music with and fuck every once in a while. Like, she's not into relationships. And
no,
so it's so strange that she would be so antagonistic about his wife. Like, I can understand if she's like, "We just won't tell Camilla and she'll never know and we can just have fun." Feels more true to who the character is than, like, so angry when Camilla's around. That's so strange.
yes. I could get if this was her trying to, like, obviously Daisy needs to say something to Billy, continue the mind games,
Yeah.
really, like, poke at him, but to bring Camilla into this feels so unlike her. And, like,
Yeah.
say anything else. Say, like, "Oh, I can't handle your booze, so you can't be around a party." Like, say something about his alcoholism. Like, don't bring his wife into this. And then for her to be so upset, like, for one of the things in their argument at the photo shoot to be like, "You think it's uncomfortable for me with your wife here?" It's like, where is this coming from? What, like, he's never said he's gonna leave his wife for her. He's never even done anything at the point of the party. Like, you guys have a flirtation, and all of a sudden you're bringing Camilla into this. It felt gross to me.
It was so gross. Um, and then we have them back in the studio. I liked her and Warren on the ground, and she's like, "Now play a beat like the when he's thinking." I was like, loved it. I would like more like Daisy and Warren and Eddie. Like, I feel like they're like a fun, unique trio. What are they up
Yeah,
to?
yeah. Mix up the like groupings.
Even though she refuses to know one thing about Eddie, she does not want to, and she won't.
True.
Um, and then Billy
Ugh.
writes a song for More Fun to Miss. She doesn't want to sing it. Somehow she ends up singing it and is not very good. And then we just have this montage of Billy just saying stop and pushing her over and over and over again.
This is in the book,
Yeah.
right? So, like, it made sense.
No, I liked it. I mean, I thought it was good, but then okay. Then she storms out because she's like, fuck you. He will goes after her and they end up kissing in the parking lot. Do they kiss in the book?
No,
Okay.
nothing happens in the book ever.
Yes.
This I almost screamed. I, like, had again my hands up to my face. What?
I hated
What?
it.
What?
No.
I hated it when it happened, and
Okay.
then I hated it, I hated it, I hated it, and then they get to the photo shoot, and she's like, "What was that kiss for?" And he's like, "Well, how do you think you sounded afterwards? You wouldn't have got there without me." So then I started thinking back on it, and I was like, did Billy finally learn the game that they're playing? And, like, he finally learned how to manipulate Daisy,
Mhm.
and this is the way, I mean, obviously it worked.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, the purist that I am didn't like it because it wasn't in the book. But also, they do say in the book, do we have to tell you everything? So maybe it wasn't there. But I still don't like it. I still was like, no, I don't like this.
And I think if they had set up in the show it's like some things are real, some things are one person's memory, some things are the absolute fact of what happened, and they
Yes.
had this be, like, one of their memories.
Yeah,
Then
and
I'd
it's
be
like
like, "Okay,
maybe
like,
he
did it
kisses
happen? Did
her.
it not happen?"
Yeah, in
Right.
another one, he doesn't kiss her, but he says something truly horrible, or he says something so lovely that it felt like a kiss, and, like, you can, something like that.
Or or if there's a way to indicate, like, this isn't what they're telling the interviewer. This is separate of that. Or you know what I mean? Like, had there been a way to play with that, I think I would have liked it more, but I didn't like that they kissed.
Yeah. How did when they showed Daisy 20 years later, her reaction, and she, like, seems mad about it?
Mhm.
So that's when I, like, on rethinking about it, it was like she knew that Billy was manipulating her, and, like, old Daisy was like, like,
Maybe,
the
yeah.
kiss, and that's how she sees it now. But they just don't I think I'm waiting for the flash forwards slash the present interviews to mean more.
Mhm.
Like, right now, they're not totally adding a lot to me. It's like for some jokes and for foreshadowing, but it's like I wish that they were being used more aggressively.
Yeah.
And I wish that they were being used for story and not just for asides.
Yeah. It feels like a missed opportunity,
Mhm.
but yeah, so then Daisy sings the song and it's amazing. And then Billy comes home and sees Julia and Camilla sleeping in the bed together and has regrets. This is why I don't think that he kissed, like, I don't know. It's
You
so
don't
dumb.
what?
Well, no, I know that they kissed, but it's like this is what, like, he didn't kiss her to get her to play the game.
Right, he kissed
You
her
think?
because he wanted to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
because then
agree.
coming home and looking at the 2 of them, he
Yes.
felt awful, and he wouldn't feel that way if he was like, "I just manipulated somebody into."
Yes, I agree. I think he
Yeah.
kissed her because he wanted to and because he was admitting that there was something there. Yeah.
I'm just like
Tell me how
and
you
our
really feel.
and our lone comment so far, and I do have to thank my audience because this is such like a project for me that you people will not engage with, which is totally fine. But the only comment we got is like they talk too much about what's different between the book and the show. And I'm like,
That's
and they want us to just pay attention to the show. Fine. That's a valid note. We won't be taking the note, but I appreciate it. But it's like part of the book, of what made the book so amazing, is this yearning and this
yeah.
what could have been kind of idea. So then at the end, when things happen, we won't well, who knows if they'll
I
happen
don't know.
now, but whatever. You feel this sense of hope and buoyancy because you're like, "Oh, what could have been?"
So true. So
And
true.
so we just undermined all of that. It's all gone. And it feels like the air being let out of a balloon, and it's just like, "Okay, so what are we doing here?" And and it's about because romances, and this is not a romance, but it's a romance podcast, and romances are all about, like, how these 2 people coming together are now better for being in each other's lives. And
Mm.
obviously in a romance novel, they end up together in the end, but it's the same principle with this book because Taylor Jenkins Reid is clearly a romance novel fan. You could tell in, like, all of her books.
Mhm.
But, like, it's about how they made each other better by being together. And part of that is getting Daisy to grow up and not just take things, and getting and Billy to be able to be the man that he wants to be. And I always suspected that they maybe actually did hook up once in the book and they just didn't tell the interviewer
Mhm.
for obvious reasons if you have read the book. And I always was like, "Oh, that's something to hold on to." And so part of me was like, if they had done this whole all of these shows and then maybe it's like they're packing up the interview and then one of them starts thinking and we see like all the bits throughout the entire story where maybe they did have a moment and
Yeah.
we
Oh,
could
that
be
would have
like,
been
"Okay,"
cool.
or something, but instead it's
Like
just
a
like
twist at the very end. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, but I hate it. I hated it. I hate it. I don't like it. And this episode, I'm happy we're taking a break because I need a moment
Yeah.
because I don't like it.
It's exactly what you said when the air felt released and I was just like, this is episode 6. We still have 4 more episodes. Where are they going to go?
Yeah. And do I wanna follow them anymore?
Whoa.
Truthfully, I mean, obviously, we're going to. We've gone this far into it.
Whoa, that is a bold statement. You want to quit the pod?
I don't wanna quit the pod.
Okay.
I'm not going to, but there is this kind of thing of, like,
What? What?
"Oh, so now I'm just gonna, like, watch this guy cheat on his wife for 4 hours, or you know what I mean? It just feels like
Yeah.
not.
Because that was the thing about the book is that Billy and Camilla's relationship, like, for as shaky ground as it was always solid. It was
Mhm.
always solid. And now it's not.
Yeah.
Like, you always knew that Billy loved Camilla and, like, she was who he was with. And Camilla felt the same about him. And it just felt like, nah, yeah, they've taken that away. And I
Yeah.
don't think it adds to the, like, cinematicness of it. I don't think it adds anything that we're not learning. Like, we've seen this story before. The
Mhm.
story on the page is one that we haven't seen before and would have been way more interesting to look at.
And everybody knows that rule too of, like, you don't get the 2 people you want to have together. Janine and Gregory on Abbott Elementary are not together right now because that's the fun of it is the longing and the hoping and especially how for how long Billy talks about, like, meeting the right person at the wrong time, or that's part of love too.
Mhm.
And that was always, like, the like, kind of the tragedy of Billy and Daisy's story because had he met Daisy first, you could have felt like, okay, there could have been something there that would have been very different, but he
Mhm.
didn't. Anyway, now we're at the Aurora photo shoot. Graham is like, I don't feel like we see Graham be an uncle as much in the book, and I love him as an uncle.
I just wrote down Uncle Graham adorable. Like
It was so cute.
adorable. It
You
was
could see how much he's
so
obsessed
cute.
with Julia is the sweetest,
I
and I love it so
know.
much.
Oh.
There's a photographer uh, that Camilla's admires who's there. And yeah, why didn't Billy just have Camilla shoot it from the beginning? Because he doesn't think of her anymore.
Nope.
Um, then oh yeah, Daisy goes up to Camilla and Julia while they're by like the snack table and
Crafty.
tells tells Camilla that Billy wrote please, which is just a weird lie. Well, I don't know which is the lie. I guess we won't know, but it's just an odd thing.
Oh, I thought that Billy lied.
Yeah, I think Billy lied too.
And Camilla's like, I don't know why you would say that. But now you don't know because her, like, the Camilla and Daisy relationship has weirdly been tainted. And so you're like, is she lying to Camilla to make Camilla wonder about Billy? It adds this like, gross layer to it.
Yeah.
I did like the line of Camilla saying anybody can do it, being a mom, and Daisy goes, they can't. Trust me, I
Yeah.
know. That was
It's also like
heartbreaking.
Daisy admires Camilla too, and it's yeah.
Exactly. Like,
So
they
why
don't
she
have to
hates her so
like each
much.
other, but they respect each other and they
Yeah.
have this, like, sense of admiration and decency towards each other.
And the last time we saw them, they were, like, very close and had a very, like, intimate and close conversation. So it's so strange that now they're just, like, weirdly antagonistic. It's like, "Huh?" Like, I
Yeah,
assume they would have seen each other in the, like, time between, but it's so bizarre.
right. And this is just, like, the when they were at the party and Camilla goes, "Who cares what Billy wants? Like, I want you here. I This is the type of person who says what they want and does what they want." And so for her to just not ask Billy these questions is just doesn't feel very true.
No. We have a moment with Karen and Graham about why Karen wants to keep the relationship secret, which
I liked
she
it.
doesn't. Yeah, she doesn't want to be the girlfriend in the six, and for people to think about why is in the band.
Mhm.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah, and I liked that Graham could relate without him being like, "Yep, I'm just the brother in the band," but you just got that underlying subtlety. I thought it was good.
Mhm.
Graham just
Um,
being a good bro again, also being like, "Whatever you want, all right," and
the true hero of the story.
not being a real dick about it.
It's like, "I understand. I'm the number 1 guy in this group."
Oh my gosh, I hope he doesn't have a huge downfall also,
I know,
though.
we're gonna be like, "Graham!"
Don't call yourself the
Um,
number 1 guy in the group, Graham. It's a curse.
uh, then it's a photo shoot. They just want pictures of Billy and Daisy. Eddie's pissed, of course. Um, and then Jonah talks to Billy and admits to Billy that Daisy told him about his drug use and missing Julia's christening and birth, which is like low down dirty.
Yeah. See, this is where I would have appreciated old Daisy in the present saying what she says in the book, where she says, "This isn't what that was bad of me. I should have never done that. That was a horrible
Mhm.
thing to do." But Billy shouldn't have done what he did then next, as in talking about Daisy instead of himself. Um, but yeah, you don't do that. That's
No, it's fucked. Especially yeah, but yeah, this is when you need her to justify it in the present.
Mhm.
Daisy and Billy, of course, start fighting. Camilla just is sneaking around and taking pictures
And
of them
being
fighting.
jealous? Why is she jealous? Like, ugh.
No. Um, I do love this next scene where Daisy like storms off. She's done after fighting with him and she's driving. And I have to say, Riley Q is a beautiful woman, obviously, but like has never looked as gorgeous as she does in this shot. For some reason, I was just like struck. Like she just looked amazing.
In the car?
Yeah, it was like the hair.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I was just like, Jesus. Um, she gets into an accident while she's looking for her notebook to start writing the song.
I
And
loved
then
that. I thought it was
it
great.
was such a good that was fantastic.
As
And the guy's like
somebody
slamming on the window
Yeah.
and she's like, I'm in the middle of something. And it's so fantastic. And that's Daisy too. Like that was great.
Yeah, exactly. That was something that she would 100% do.
Yeah.
I also appreciated it as somebody who has had some close calls when I've been fumbling for my notes app in my phone because I just thought of a great line. Like, "I gotta write it down." Now I just go to voice memos and say the line and then
That's good. That's
yeah.
better for everybody.
No texting and driving, people. Don't do
No
it.
texting and driving. Um, and then Camilla goes out. I mean, and
Ugh.
looks the best.
She
Looks
looks
fucking
amazing.
phenomenal. Jesus Christ.
Sh
She looks so good.
I know.
I if I was Billy, I'd be scared too.
I would be like, "I'm coming with you wherever you're going. You're not
Yeah,
leaving the
he just
house
lets
like
her walk
that."
out. Which is like he can't like chase her to her car, but like ask a follow-up question.
Oh, I'd just be like, "You look so freaking hot. Like, I'm coming with you, and we're
Yeah.
showing you off. You're my wife. Like,
They
yes,
do have a
please.
baby at home. They can't just leave,
Leave
but
her. Leave her."
she's in the
When she
crib.
looks
But
that good,
yeah. Abandon your child.
abandon your child.
But I feel like if I was like Pat and I are not in a bad place in our relationship, but if I just like walked out and was like goodbye, and Pat would be like, "Where are you going? Who are you going with? What is going on?"
Do you
But
think that
anyway,
Billy
Bill-
feels like he's not allowed to say anything because
maybe
of how poorly he treated her when he was on tour?
I don't. I think he was just stunned. I think he just, and that's the thing too. It's like old Camilla would have been been doing this stuff. She would have, like, called up Karen and been like, "Let's go get drunk. Let's go get fucked up." And
Yes.
so the next scene is her at a rooftop bar by herself, drinking,
Crying.
crying,
Crying.
and yeah, and it's just so bizarre because it's like, yeah, Camilla would have called Karen or something. I don't know, just, like, her crying by herself at a busy bar is so strange,
Where are
and
all
then
those
Pete's there.
friends that she had at her wedding?
I know.
During
Or
the
all those
huge
people at the
wedding?
wedding, but we can't call one of them for a drink?
All the friends
It's
that she had
so
at her
strange.
housewarming party, why can't she call them? Like, what? You had so
Yeah,
many friends at all these party scenes, where are they now?
exactly. And she sees Pete. So
Eddie.
here Eddie, sorry. We have a ton of questions. I have a ton of questions, and I assume you do too. Did she go there thinking Eddie would be there?
No.
Okay. Eddie did look great. I
Yeah,
think
he
Eddie's
did look good in
handsome.
this he did look good in this episode. His wig
Yeah,
was
so
working.
uh-huh. Well, apparently it's all their hair. I sent you that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't read it because it said spoilers, and I was like,
Oh.
refused.
Well, some very nice, listener sent us a article all about how most of the actors use their real hair because they had time to grow it out. Um,
I love that. Love.
so he's talking to a girl, he tells her basically to fuck off, and then he goes sits with Camilla, and she's like, "Oh, I can't believe you would turn down a sure thing for me." And he says,
I
"I choose
turned
I choose you over everyone."
I told
Fucking
you.
bold.
I told
You
you.
knew it was coming, and I was like, "No."
I don't know how I knew, but I was just like, "I don't like this."
It was so then we basically cut to Camilla coming home. It's the 70s, and people love to drink and drive in the 70s, and I don't even know if it was illegal. People were getting shit canned to get behind the wheel like it was no thing. Um, and then she says the line about, like, everybody has there were so many secrets at the time, I just wanted a secret of my own. So we
That does
don't
not
know that
feel.
anything happened with her and
Yes, we
Eddie.
do. Come
Okay.
on.
I'm choosing to think that they, like, I don't know,
She
had
says, "I need a secret of my own." She comes home, she wipes tears away. Eddie later refuses to leave, and then when he sees Billy, he runs away. They
mhm.
slept together, please. Please. Girl, you know
It's
it. You
so
know it deep
weird.
down in your heart they did.
I
Don't
know, but I
leave it.
hate it.
But I hate it too. I hate it so much, but that's what it is.
So then Camilla comes home, Billy's like, "Did you eat? Like, where were you?" And she just says that she was at dinner with a friend. And Billy knows something happened. Like, I don't he doesn't know that something happened with Eddie,
Right.
obviously, but he knows
Yeah.
something's
But he
rotten in
can't say
Denmark.
anything because of the tour.
Yeah. But also what he's doing with Daisy right now, which is, like, the whole thing.
Oh, yeah,
She
that too.
thinks something is happening, and so that's why she did that. I mean, it's not like she's still bitter from the tour.
But see, this is like why, like, this even forget the Camilla in the book. The Camilla in the show that they have previously established would not care. She would
Mhm.
say something, and be she wouldn't need a secret of her own. Like, she doesn't need this internal life that is not who she really is. I don't like it, just
Yeah.
didn't make sense.
No, I would like to know why this decision was made.
Because it just adds another love triangle that doesn't need to be there. They're adding these love triangles that it's not necessary.
Yeah. I mean, the scene when Billy sees Eddie in the recording studio, Eddie just immediately turns and runs in the other direction is fantastic. Because also from Eddie's point of view, I don't think he's thinking like maybe he ran into my wife last night and fucked her. He's just like typical Eddie, like
Yeah, like,
never liked me,
yeah,
so he just
yeah,
doesn't want to see me this morning.
yeah.
And then he walks into Daisy singing "Regret Me," and he says he refuses to have it on the album, but then it gets outvoted by everybody.
His temper tantrum was so fantastic because this is the Billy that just is like, is so unaware, just, like, lacks
Mhm.
that self-awareness of that he did the exact same thing to Daisy, and now he's gonna be like, "No, we can't do this again." It's so good. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
and it's such a good song.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I looked up in the back of the book, they have the
Mhm,
lyrics for the songs, and they're
mhm.
not the same, they've changed them.
I'm okay with it.
Oh, yeah, no, I just, like, I was wondering if they were gonna use them, if
I bet
all
they
of TJ's
tried.
work yeah, probably, like, as a starting point, but if all of TJ's
Yeah,
work was for naught.
I wouldn't say so. Billy storms out, kicks a headlight, of course. Who's lurking?
Jonah!
Jonah. Jonah's
Jaybird.
sneaking up behind him
Just like
and is very, like, gross and TMZ like that he's like, "Well," because Billy is very reasonably like, "Don't talk about my daughter, like, that's fucked up," which is like, yes, I'm on Billy's side. Don't talk about his daughter.
yeah,
But it's also like, say he was in rehab, but don't say when, like, whatever. Um, and then Jonah says, "Give me something better."
yep.
Um, they record "Regret Me." Everyone is ripping butts the whole time. I love it.
I loved it. I love that it was just a slow pan of everybody smoking, and then you get to Daisy, and she's also smoking while she's singing.
So good.
Chef's kiss.
And then at the end, Teddy and Daisy are listening to, like, the final cut of the song, and Teddy just starts doing this, like, tiny little clap, and that's how they ended the Aurora sessions, which was a great way to end it, and then the band is on hiatus. Warren went on a boat with 2 sets of twins,
2 sets of
with 4
identical
women.
twins. Wow.
That's gross. That's a little incest fantasy of Warren's. Um, Eddie's real fucking shifty, so I'm like, "Wait, did this turn into an actual affair
See,
and
this
not a
is what I'm
one-night thing? Like, what the
saying.
fuck?"
He stuck around. He's like, "I stuck around to see if anything happened." Something happened.
Ugh.
I don't like it.
Karen and Graham are still having sex, Aurora's on the radio. Things are fine for the band. Daisy's at home, and Jonah has sent her a few pages from the article. Now I paused and read it.
Yeah, so what did it say? The pauses
It
in
just
this episode were pretty, uh, large chunks of text.
yes.
Like, the song was a lot "Please," when they
Mhm.
paused on "Please," it was a lot to read, and when they paused on the article, it was a lot to read.
Oh, yeah. It just talks about Daisy showing up late to everything, really pilled out. There's a great line from Warren where he's like, Daisy is like the frog and the scorpion, like, you can't like, she's gonna be how she's gonna be, and, yeah, it talks about her being late and not really caring about the people around her, which I thought it was gonna be something more specific. I honestly thought it was gonna be the story of her breaking into her childhood home, that
Mm,
she'd only told Billy, because otherwise it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, he was there and had eyes, so this isn't a betrayal by Billy,
yep.
this is just him seeing what's happening.
Thank you. I was like when I paused it and I read it, I was like, "This is just a bash piece against Daisy. Like, this isn't very specific to anything that Billy would say. How is this different from what he just wanted to do, what she was trying to do to him?" It was
Yeah.
like in the book, it's so much more interesting because she says, that thing about his daughter. He says, "Please don't print that." Jonah says, "Give me something better." And he's like, "Okay, here's something better. I hate Daisy. I hate her."
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, that's amazing. The two lead singers of the new hot band hate each other. That's a story. It's not just that Daisy, this struggling waitress who made it big, has a pill problem. And it was like, I don't like that.
Especially in, like, 1978 where it's like, yes, she was a rock star with a pill addiction, like, are we shocked by this? Are we
Exactly.
scandalized? Like, is she shocked that like, does she care that people know that she's on pills? Because I don't think she does.
No, if she's in a taxi cab drinking champagne and popping pills when she's getting out of it, and she does not care what anybody thinks about her.
Yeah. So I thought that was really odd where it would make more sense if it was something that she had only told Billy and it was like a real betrayal of confidence, and instead it was just like, yeah, she shows up late.
Yeah, and for it to
Okay.
be the quote from, like, Warren and just other members of
Mhm.
the band, that's not interesting.
Yeah, I don't get it. Billy's looking at pictures for the album. He hates them all, and then Camilla gives him what ends up being the album cover.
I
I liked it.
like
And
this.
then yeah, she says, "We used to fight like that." And then she says, "If you love her," and he says, "I don't." And she goes, "Well, if you do, that's when this ends."
Mhm. I like
Is
that
that from the book?
n not at that moment. I think I
Yeah.
don't I'm trying to remember, I feel like she does say something around, like, those lines,
Mhm.
but because she doesn't take the picture, it's like the guy takes the actual photographer takes the photo. Um,
Yeah.
I liked that she took the photo, though. I thought that that was interesting,
No, I
and
liked that a lot too.
yeah, it was, like, a good difference. It was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, the like, why couldn't she have said that before? What was stopping her from saying this? What she needed proof? She needed to have eyes to see that her husband was flirting with Daisy, or, like, something needed to happen so that they would have a sexual energy fight. Like, what why was Camilla saying these things now?
Yeah. I don't know. Because this is the episode. It wasn't like a lot of payoffs, but honestly, that's what it feels like. Billy in the future says, "History is what happened, not what almost happened." But
Mhm.
it happened, Billy. We saw,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah? Unless he's just talking about when he almost walked into her room for temptation, or he almost
But, like, kissing her in a pa and also kissing her in a parking lot
in the middle of the day
in the middle of the day.
at a studio where you all are very well known. It's your office, it's your workplace.
Yeah, it's so fucking bizarre. Then Billy goes to Daisy. Why do you think he went to Daisy's?
What?
Then after that conversation he has with Camilla, he goes to Daisy's, and that's when the
Oh,
maid is like,
to find the
"Oh, she
maid?
moved
Right, right.
out." Yeah, on Wednesday.
To tell her that oh my gosh, what if it's that he was saying it's what almost happened because he went there to start an affair and then he was thwarted by
The maid.
the maid slash Daisy leaving to go move to Greece. I think he was going to tell her like this is over, but I don't I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't
I
even
was
really think
confused.
about that.
Yeah,
Maybe
because
to
maybe
like
that
talk through the tour to get ready to talk about the album. To apologize? Maybe he was going to apologize for storming out of Regret Me.
yeah, but that must have happened so long ago, you know?
Maybe he was going to apologize for I don't know.
I don't know either. I was very confused.
I think they just needed for the audience to know that Daisy had left.
Yeah. Daisy's in Greece.
Yep.
So we'll be in Greece next time we talk, I guess.
I wonder why they made it Greece and not because she goes to Thailand in the book,
Oh.
but some foreign country.
Well, didn't she travel like, she was traveling all over the place, like, she was in Italy?
Well, no,
Or that was after the
she
tour?
goes to Thailand and then um it's after they've started rehearsals for the tour. She goes to
Mhm.
Thailand and then she tells Simone come to Thailand. And in the middle of Simone getting to Thailand, she meets the Italian prince and then goes to Italy and then starts traveling with
Oh.
the prince.
Right.
And then Simone has to, like, track her down by pretending to be the credit card company. So Simone better come back in Greece. We better see her.
I
And if
know,
we
2
don't
episodes
see
without
Timmy
Simone.
O if we don't see Timmy O in this next episode, I'm gonna burn this to the ground.
What are we doing here,
He's been
people?
in 1 episode, like 1.5
2.
episodes.
Oh,
He was
yeah, 1
in
and a half.
half. He was in the first scene of the second episode. Like, you're killing
Yeah,
me. You're killing me.
we need more. I yeah, this was a tough one to get through.
I just I don't know where they go from here. There's still 4 episodes.
Yeah, I'm confused too.
There's still 4 episodes, and we're literally, like, there's only a third of the way of the book left. Not even, like, a fourth of the book left.
They must be doing some big changes.
That worries me.
Yeah, it worries me too.
Maybe they're just gonna give the tour the full, like, amplification that it needs.
I hope so.
Oh my
After
gosh.
this episode, I'm, like, not so
You seem so sad.
I know. I'm just bummed out. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I thought that
If you watched this episode and you loved it, to the audience, tell us
tell us
why.
why.
Because it's not like we aren't liking the show. We're loving the show. The last 2 episodes were so fucking good, and then I just feel like it was all undone in a way.
Mm. 'Cause it went away from the book, and that's what I'm wondering. I would love we gotta have Claire on to talk about as somebody
Yes.
who hasn't read the book. I just like, I wanna know if there's something that we're missing because we're book readers,
Yeah.
that somebody who hasn't read the book but is watching the show just understands more.
Has she been watching it?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we gotta get her up to speed.
But she's listening to the podcast.
Hey, Claire.
Shout out, Claire.
Claire, you need to watch some episodes because we need you to come on in here, please.
I was gonna say,
Um,
I'm sure we can find somebody else who's watching the show, but we haven't. I don't know anybody like talking about the show.
yeah, that's the thing that's tough.
Mm.
You need to find somebody. Um, any final thoughts?
Uh, no. I'm ready for more music. I want more music.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
want like full songs of it too. Because I just want to listen to the album, but I'm such a lame
Purist.
person. Yeah, I'm so lame that I'm like, I can't listen to the album until I hear it on the TV show. I used to be that way where it was like I wouldn't listen to movie scores if I hadn't watched the movie. I love movie scores. It's like what I listen
Mm-hmm.
to. And now I'm like, okay, I'll listen to a movie score even if I haven't seen the movie.
You know, it's a great writing score.
Atonement?
If Beale Street Could Talk.
Oh yeah, Nicholas Britell, so good.
Yeah.
Oh, love
Yeah.
him. Atonement is a really good one because it's got the clack of the typewriter, clack, 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 and also Social Network because it's just like constantly like so good.
Oh, oof.
Yeah.
That stressed me out.
No,
I
it's
have
a
to
good
listen
one.
to
It's good. It's good. It's good.
yeah, I listen to Brown Noise.
What is that?
It's just like a 2-hour long maybe that's my swoon. It's brown noise for focus, so it's not like white noise. It's a different, like, frequency, and it's for concentration if you have ADHD, it is really helpful, brown noise. I
Hmm.
think you have ADHD, we can go ahead and diagnose you right now,
No.
and I'll send it to you, and you should listen to it, but it's like it just calms, like, the speed, like, you know how you're always thinking of a million things at once? So even when you're writing, you're like, "And this, and that, and that."
See, I'm not like that though.
Okay.
My
Must
mind
be
is
nice.
pretty blank.
Oh, good.
Sometimes I think that I'm the Lego from the Lego movie where they're like, let your mind go blank, and then it does.
Okay, I
Like,
don't
I
have that
do that.
experience. Well, I have to listen to the brown noise on Spotify, and it helps because then I can just concentrate on one thing instead of thinking of a million things.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll check it out. Maybe it'll be good for me.
you could try.
I can try.
Um,
I'm gonna swoon about the Oscar-winning score of All Quiet on the Western Front. Haven't seen
really?
the
Is it good?
movie. I haven't seen the
Oh.
movie. When I watched the Oscars, every time somebody from All Quiet on the Western Front would win, they would do this like "Bah!" And it was like a little snippet from the score, and I was like, "This is so interesting. What is that?" Like, obviously it's from the score, but I was like,
Yeah,
I need to listen to this score. It sounds so good. And I have. It's really good. I do really like it.
okay.
Um, it does not make me feel like I'm in battle, but maybe I got to listen to it a few more times.
I mean, yeah. Can you spoil a 100-year-old book?
The I've seen the
'Cause I'll tell you what
original film.
everybody dies.
Yeah. No, I've seen the original. I read the book in high school
Mhm.
and I've seen the original film, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen this Netflix remake. It's supposed to be really good though.
Yeah, the Oscars lived for it.
The Oscars loved it.
Alright. Well,
So
we'll
we're
see you.
taking a break, but we're not really taking a break
We're not taking a
because
break for you guys. We
yeah,
just recorded all these in really quick succession,
yes. And now
but
we're taking a vacation.
of like a week,
Yeah.
a little less than a week. But we'll be back here on Monday or on Wednesday with episode 7, 8, 9, 10.
No,
4 more.
so now it's only 2 episodes.
Oh, so then 7, 8, and then 8,
So
9, and then
this
9,
weekend
10.
they're releasing 7 and 8, and the next week they're releasing 9 and 10.
Okay.
So they're only releasing 2 episodes for the rest of the time, twice.
I have faith. I think it's going to turn around. If you guys want to let us know your thoughts, if you have not read the books and are just watching the TV show, let us know your thoughts on just watching the TV show. Like, are we really off base?
Please.
You can email us at learningthetropes@gmail.com. We're on Twitter at Learning Tropes, on Instagram at Learning the Tropes. We have our Patreon. If you go to patreon.com and search Learning the Tropes, you'll find us. We put videos of all of our episodes up on the Patreon so we can see you now. And I think that's it. So we will see you next time. And until then,
Keep Jones in for us.
for us,
For
for
us.
us.